G'day everyone. Now, I'm sorry I didn't make a video last week. Sometimes things are good, sometimes they're not. Sometimes you just have a sort of week. Things grind to a halt, everything becomes a bit hard, and that's what really happened, really. So I've picked myself up out of that swing, and I have been busy finding some new ways to entertain myself. So we are still working with the gradual return to work, but there are some hold-ups with the equipment that has been supplied for me. So we are on 5 to 8 hours at the moment. Now that is okay. I'm able to do maybe 3 hours at a time without a rest. I've gotten up to that far. It's really, really tough going when you've been off work so long and you've got such a major adjustment to make. But we are still working through it. I've got a team of really supportive people, and my physio has now been reduced to half an hour a week. Yeah, half an hour a week. And I've got a whole lot of extra exercises to do, and we're now on the specifics. So what I need to work on now is not the general get back to life stuff, because I've managed that. I've now got to work on holding a squat, holding a lunge position. We're really trying to nail the strength on the glute and hamstring now that it's actually engaging. We think that the whole problem with the calf pain could actually be the fact that the muscles were recruiting in the wrong order. So when I was walking, the calf muscle was recruiting first. Now what I'm getting now is the hamstring and glute are fatiguing first, and then once we've gotten too far past that, then the calf comes in, but I'm getting a lot further. So I actually managed to do this. I am on the estuary track. My goal today is to get right round. The last time I was able to walk all the way around this track was many, many years ago. I'm just about to reach the first bird hide, which is there. And this is already a milestone because I couldn't walk this far from the car when I still had both my feet. So, number 1, ticked off. There it is. Bench number 3. I often walked past 2 when I could get this far, but it's been a really long time since I've gone all this way without stopping or sitting down. My goal, if I can get past the bridge to the bird hide there, that'll be the first time for a long time, even before when I had 2 feet, that I've been able to walk that far. And I've never been able to get past that. The bridge. First time I've got this far with me and my peg leg without sitting down. Once I cross the bridge, I am into unknown territory with regards to this leg. And once I pass the bird hide that's on the other side of the bridge, I'm going places I have never been before. I have reached the bird hide sitting down once along this way. I've never reached the bird hide not sitting down, and I've never gone past it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have gotten to the bird hide. Now, this is the first time I've reached this bird hide without stopping walking. Now, the only reason I have stopped walking at the moment is because my hamstring is sore and I want to be able to get right around it. From here onwards, me and this peg leg have never been any further than this. I'm now on the other side of the estuary, so by the train tracks, there's the estuary, and my watch has just buzzed for 2k, so the last time I sat down was 600 metres ago, and we're past the point of no return, so it's now further to go back than it is to carry on going forwards. There's seats along this side, but they're a lot less frequent. So, can I go further than 1.4? Which is how far I got before I sat down last time. Let's see. This little hill that I've come to now, when I was coming round here in the wheelchair, was a god-awful nightmare. It's really hard to get up this in a wheelchair. not far to go now. I've got to get around this next wee hill and then we're on the home straight. See those white stones up there? That is the junction in the path back to the car park. That means I'm nearly there. That's the first time in years I've been able to walk right the way around the estuary loop. And I probably should have stopped twice, but I didn't. I stopped once. But still, I can walk further. I can get about a K&a-half now before I start getting muscle pain. And it's the right type of muscle pain. It's muscle fatigue from the muscles that I'm actually using, which is good news. I'm also still working on my swimming, but the problem with that, there's the first swim race I had, which was scheduled, which was January 2022, the Ruby in Lake Wanaka. It means a lot to me, that little race, because it's a first on a number of for a number of reasons. It's the first race I did after the knee replacement. It's the first race that I went back to after my amputation, and it's just been cancelled because of the whole COVID situation here. They're changing to a traffic light system, and a lot of the mass sport and outdoor recreation type stuff are just so confused with this new system. They don't know how they're going to mandate it and follow the rules, and they're going to have to make sure everybody's got a COVID vaccination passport or not. And so a lot of places are starting to cancel those because they just don't know how they're going to have to get around that. So that's a shame, really, because that means my next one then would be February instead. So I'm still working on the swimming, and I'm really focusing now on the distance. So I am working on distance swimming, so 3-4K at a time, and then upping the pace on longer intervals, so 400-meter tempo intervals. That's what I'm currently working on in swimming, and it's going pretty well. But today it was a bit confusing with that because this happened. Now, if you're not sure what you're looking at there, I was swimming up and down and the bulkhead moved. Now, I didn't realise this is what they were doing. They started taking the lanes out, and there was already a goal on the side of the pool in my lane, and I just didn't think anything of it. I knew it would be for later, but then they took the lane ropes out, and that's not unusual. They often do this in preparation for things that are hired later. But then I was swimming a length and I thought, I should have reached the other end by now. Now, when they move the bulkhead, it's motorized, so it very gradually moves by itself. And I didn't even realize they were moving it until it had moved like 5 meters further on down the pool. I was like, oh, hang on, I should have got to the other end by now. I was very confused. And so was my Garmin, because it works out my distance based on what length I tell it the pool is and how many times I turn. And there's only a 25 and a 50 meter pool setting in the Garmin. Now, I worked out what the distance had become. They'd moved it by 5 meters. I counted how many strokes extra I was doing to the other end, and then worked it out roughly. And then after I'd done that, noticed that the bulkhead was now under the 5 meter flag markers from the other side of the pool. So 30 meters, which was really confusing for my turning when you're used to 25 and 50. Anyway, I've also been using the e-bike when I can, and I'm hoping to increase the distance that I go on it in order to be able to increase my longer exercise tolerance. And I took it out this week. I'm not so confident yet in the really, really windy, but it was pretty windy. And I took it out this week, and this is what happened. just great. I shouldn't have come this way. Oh my God, oh my God. Actually, that I had the extra little electric assistance, because when I turned into the headwind and the stones and all the other stuff, I just pushed the button a little bit more and I was still able to carry on. So it's given me a new lease of life, and it's really making me love cycling again. It's making me feel a bit more normal, if that makes sense, and not quite as disabled, because everything is a really hard effort. If I want to go a distance, it has to be wheelchair. Swimming is the only thing that's not an effort. Walking is an effort. Cycling is an effort. Getting my leg to do its thing is an effort. So the e-bike, making it just that little bit easier, is probably the best purchase I've had so far. But that said, I did go on the Shiv, which is now attached to the indoor trainer, and I attached it to Zwift. And even my average speed overall on Zwift, which is not assisted, that is actually me, is up as well. So by a couple of K an hour average. So it's all coming together, although it's very slow, small steps, and they're quite spaced out, because we're now what is it, 13 months, and I'm still working on it, and we still haven't arrived at any point in particular, because I've still got a lot of stuff to do. So that is what all has been going on. And then it was raining at the weekend, and so I've been lectured a lot by my occupational therapist about finding pastimes that are not exercise based, that isn't always going to fatigue me, because that's the thing, it's balancing fatigue, work, personal life fatigue. And so I'm not doing things that's always going to wipe me out. And I've been scratching my head over this for a while. It's accumulation of lots of people nagging me, to be honest. And it's like 3 or 4 or 5 different people have all mentioned, why am I not playing? I didn't really have a good answer for that, to be frank. So last weekend, it was piecing down all weekend, and that meant that there was nothing outside that I could do, and so I had to find something inside to do. So I dug my clarinet and my flute out. Now, bear in mind, if you do not know, I do have a music degree, and I've been playing the flute. Well, I started playing the flute when I was 6 years old. And that was my principal instrument when I did my music degree. So in theory, it should be quicker to pick up. I started learning the clarinet when I was a high school teacher in Peterborough. I had a girl come into my class, I was a music teacher at the time, who wanted to learn the clarinet. She was blind, had gone blind in a car accident as a result of a head injury. And she wanted to learn the clarinet, and the clarinet teacher that came into the school said, nope, that's impossible, can't teach a blind person clarinet. So I thought, now there's always been a theme with her, why not? That's always been my theme. So I taught myself the clarinet, and I was literally one step ahead of her. So I'd teach myself something, and then I'd teach it to her. And that's how it worked. So I have completely self-taught with the clarinet. I have never had a single lesson. I haven't played it for almost 20 years as well. So it's harder to pick up. But here, here is what the flute currently sounds like after having picked it up and had a fiddle for sort of 15 or 20 minutes. So thankfully I remembered all the fingering, remembered how to get all of the notes, blah, 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 blah. The last time I occasionally picked it up once or twice, I couldn't get half of the notes. So at least my chops remembered what they were doing, and so did my fingers. And I found some sheet music online to play from. And then I went searching for the clarinet, and it's harder, like I say. So we need to start with easier music. And because it just all feels harder, I wanted a background sort of piece of music, accompaniment in the background. So I went searching on YouTube. So I've got a Bluetooth speaker down underneath the camera, and it is playing. I found an accompaniment in the same key, and found some sheet music online and married the two together. So I'm playing with sheet music that I found on Scribd and an accompaniment that I found on YouTube. And here is my effort after spending one afternoon fiddling with the clarinet. complain because it's been a really long time since I have actually done either, but I think I'll stick at it and see how we go with the both of them and then take it from there. This week also, I was strolling around in the park earlier on this week, chatting with a friend, just, strolling around. And I got to a point where I was like, hang on, can we just sit down for a moment? And then afterwards looked at my date on my watch, and my watch didn't calculate the distance, but it did tell me the time spent because it recognizes regular patterns. So it recognized I was walking. I hadn't been tracking the distance. I didn't really care. But what I did notice, interestingly, is that I've managed to walk now with the crutches, because I always take them when it's longer. I've managed to walk constantly without stopping for 28 minutes. Now, I could only go 200 meters when I started. So you know what? Sarah Leash, the surgeon, she just might be right in so much as the collateral vessels keep building. Either that, or I'm now recruiting the correct muscle groups, which is alleviating the calf trouble. Who knows? Frankly, who cares? Because it's improving, and that's the important thing. So that's where I'm up to at the moment. So, and then I'm going for the curly girl hairstyle. This is as a result, this at the moment here is, I went to the pool earlier, I washed it in coconut shampoo, washed it and unconditioned it, coconut shampoo. I forgot to take my headband, which I often wear to keep it out of my eyes when I look down, so it doesn't go in my eyes. But this is the first time I've left it like this. Out of the shower, I put some curl cream in, scrunched it, and then I walked out the pool because I didn't have the headband. And this is what it looks like. So it's not really too bad. It's getting better. It's a lot less frizzy. It's a lot more curl defined. So I think I'm going to stick with it because I'm actually able to wear the hair out a lot more, even at work. If I have the headband on, keeps it out of my face, and it's looking better than it has in a long time, I think. So yeah, I've been spending maybe 40 odd years ironing it to try and keep it straight when I've had these curls all along. And I remember in the 80s, I used to pay to have curls put in. So who knew? Yeah. And we're also embracing the grey. So I'm not sure if you can tell it very well in the light at the moment, but it is, I'm pretty happy with the colour of it at the moment. We've got sort of a blondish sort of grey going on, and I'm quite liking it really. So I'm getting used to it. So yeah, what with the curly hair, the skirts, and the new lease of life my leg is starting to give me, all I need now is a running blade, which we're still waiting for a decision on. Anyway, that's my update. So have a great weekend, evening, morning, whatever you're doing. And if there's anything specific that you want to know or ask me about, then please holler and I will see if I can help. Have a lovely day.